and then I lost service in there. So so this is part two. But what I was talking about is just mainly taking all that focus, putting that focus on your to make sure that you are in a mentally healthy place. Because what people will do, let me tell you what people will do. People will use your empathy and your caring heart against you. They will use your emotions against you. They will use your desire to want different types of relationships against you. They will use your need for wanting to be connected to people against you. And you have to learn to be okay with losing people, right? Because if you don't, you're going to allow people to take your peace. And it's not their fault, it is your fault because you gave them more power and control than they ought to have. You've given your children more power and control they ought to have. You've given that relationship, that marriage, that boyfriend, that girlfriend, that friend, right? Those family members, more control over your peace and happiness than they ought to have. That's why doing the work is so important. I talk about this all the time. And I know I come on this channel, it sounds like I'm talking about the same thing, in which I am, because it's taking responsibility. Is you being responsible for you. I do. I talk about the same thing in different situations, different scenarios, because you are responsible for you and your happiness. No one gets to control that. You get to control it. No one gets to determine if you're going to be happy or not. I don't care what someone does outside of you. You are in control of your peace and your happiness. You are responsible for that, right? You are responsible for that. No one else should have more power and peace over more power over your peace than you do. And the work is always inner. This is why I hold people accountable. Regardless of what someone does, that work is always inner. It's an inner job. You can't blame anyone, no one else for what you got going on mentally within yourself because you've given them power over you. You've given them power over your mind. You've given them power over your peace, and they shouldn't have that much power. They shouldn't have that much power and control over you. And we do that a lot. I've done it before. I've done it before I started doing the work on myself. I have done it. And I had to learn, and I had to grow, and I had to heal, and I had to repent, and I had to get delivered. See, I see why people don't like doing the self work. It's a lot. People don't like doing the work on themselves because it's a lot. And there's a lot of people you will have to cut off. There are a lot of people that you will have to stop talking to and hanging around and being with. A lot of family you will have to cut off. Friends you will have to disassociate with. People you will have to let go. And people don't want to do that. It's hard. It takes a strong person to do the assessment on their relationships, to evaluate their relationships and determine whether or not these relationships are for them. Are these people going in a direction where I'm going? And you've known them a long time. Not saying that they won't, ever come back around and finally do the work on themselves. I hope my phone don't run hot. I think it is because I have it on the dashboard here. Um, and it's hard work, but I'm so happy I started doing my work, the work on myself. I'm so happy I have so much peace. There is that's unexplainable when you start doing the work on yourself, when you start letting people go, when you start when you stop compromising, right? Your boundaries, when you stop allowing people to play in your face, which means try to be manipulative and be deceitful. When you stop all that foolishness, your peace, that peace, there's a peace that comes that surpasses all understanding. When you get to that place and when you experience that and when you have peace, oh, you're gonna protect it at all costs. You're going to protect that peace. When I tell you, you're willing to cut off anybody. The cat can get it if that cat is meowing the wrong way. The dog can get it if that dog keep barking the wrong way. Anybody can get it. The bird, the fish, if he's flapping wrong. Okay, if he's splashing up in that fish tank the wrong way. Listen, when you experience peace, you protect it at all costs. At all costs. You at open houses. I should go look at some open houses today. But I need to go finish my workout. See, I got to stay focused. I'll get out the house and be doing all kind of. I don't supposed to be going this way where I'm going, but you know that's what happens when you're not focused. When you're not focused, you tend to do stuff, be distracted, and go and do things you shouldn't be doing. But anyways, you have to protect it. You have to do the work on yourself. That's the main thing. Doing that work on yourself is so important. It'll bring you so much peace. It'll bring you so much joy. It'll bring you so much happiness. It'll create such a beautiful space in your life. Like your life will be so peaceful and beautiful. Like regardless of what's going on with the bills. A lot of us can't even be peaceful because we feel like we got too many bills and times are getting a little challenging. But when you do the work on yourself and you find that peace, you'll come up with ways to create, come up with, you'll have so much energy to do what it is you need to do for yourself to create things. You won't be around people who are superficial and you feel like you got to dim your light around. You feel like you can't be yourself, right? That'll cease, okay? That will cease. That cease. When you start doing the true work on yourself. When you start doing the true work, it's a beautiful thing. It's a powerful thing. Your energy changes. You radiate different. You attract different people. People will start looking at you. You will have like this welcoming presence. Like strangers will just start speaking to you for, like you mind your own business and you get people speaking, right? Because you give off this energy, you exude this energy of, of joy and peace. And sometimes you got to pull back. You got to pull back from everything. You got to pull back from everybody. You can't always be there for people. And unfortunately, that's how it is. You can't be there for people in certain seasons when you're trying to get yourself together. That was the hardest thing for me. I wanted to be there for people, but at a season in my life, I needed to get myself together. I was falling apart. So I had to get myself together and I had to pull back from everyone. I stopped overextending. Sometimes we feel like we have to be there for people in certain seasons of their life. And that's not always true because you need you. If you're not there for yourself, how can you be there for someone else? Like if you can't be there for yourself, how are you going to be there for someone else? You need you so that you can replenish yourself and then you can be able to give to other people because you're healed. You have something to give them. That's why a lot of people are depressed and frustrated because you're giving from an empty cup. You need to replenish yourself. You need to replenish your mind and your spirit. You need to deal with the losses and grief that you've experienced. There was a time period in my life I had so many close people that that was close to me that I considered close that they were leaving this world left and right every 3 months, every 4 months, and I really had not dealt with the grief. I really hadn't processed it. I just picked up and left, picked up and went on with life. I had to get to the place where I had to sit and grieve those deaths, grieve those relationships. So sometimes people are not, gone from the earth, but you still have to grieve them. Some relationships are, some people are still living, but you still have to grieve the relationship. That's the hard thing to do. On top of the people physically leaving here, I had to deal with people who are here that I had to grieve those relationships. And that's a hard thing. To grieve a relationship, although people are still living, you have to grieve it as if they are no longer here. That's a hard thing. But it's possible. It's possible when you do the work, when you realize that those people are not going to change, when you realize that you've given all you can give and they're still not grateful, they still don't want to change, it's okay. You got to learn how to grieve that. Grieve those relationships that are people that are still living, but you know the relationship has died. You know that that relationship is no more. And that's the hard thing. It can be a friendship, it can be a child, it can be a spouse, it can be a sibling, it could be a friend that you thought you was friends with and y'all been knowing each other for 20, 10, 20 years. It's a hard thing to do. And you got to, oh, they got another open house over here. I should go see. You have to reckon with that. You have to deal with that. And that was the hardest thing I ever had to do. Hmm. The hardest thing I ever had to do, but I had to do it. And it was one of the best things. It was hard at first. God knows. I'm not going to lie to you. Oh, that first initiation of that was hard. Oh, it was so hard. But after the hard came, the peace came. And after the peace came, the joy came. And after the joy came, the happiness came. And after the happiness came, the creativity came. And after the creativity came, you to to create and focus. Okay, focus came. And after the focus came, you were able to, be disciplined. And after the discipline, it steps to it. There's a process. There is a process. Hold on, you all. There is a process that you just have to go through. And I didn't have that written down, but that's the steps of that. That's how that goes. That's exactly how it goes. Hmm. But you got to be willing to do the work. And I understand it's hard. It was hard for me. I didn't want to do the work because I don't like to cut people off. I like to keep everybody around. I'm one of them people that like to keep everybody around. Right? When you like to keep everybody around, you don't cut people off. You just don't. Because you feel bad for doing it. But when they threatening your peace, okay, you gotta cut them off. Okay? When they're threatening your peace and joy and you can't move forward, always about them, everything is always focused on them, you got to move forward. You got to let them go. One of the hardest decisions, but one of the best decisions. One of the hardest decisions, but one of the best decisions I've done for myself and my mental health was to choose me. Let everyone else go. Don't force relationships. Sometimes you try to force people to be in your life. I don't force relationships. I reciprocate. I don't do no more than that person is doing. because you can overextend yourself to try to prove a point, to try to show people you're solid. If they don't recognize you by the spirit for you. And I had to be okay with that. I had to be okay. I'm not for everybody. And everybody's not for me. And that's okay. You can live on, go on and live your life. The world is not going to end because you're not one's life. I had to learn that. The world's not going to end because that person is not in my life. The world is not going to end because I'm not in their life. Flo said hello to you all. Y'all see Flo? She's growing. I got to go put some water on her. She's growing. She don't came a long way. She's 3 years in. I try to take care of her as much as possible. But I want Flo to get shoulder length because I want to have like a little. I want her to come to like right here, right? When she gets here, I'm gonna celebrate. I'm trying to take care of her, try not to have her thin out around my edges because I want to keep my edges. I don't want to pull on it too much. So I let her hang free sometimes because I do like my pullbacks with Flo. I like my hair twisted in the barrel twist, and I try to leave my edges out and water them because I don't want to lose them. My forehead is too big to have no edges. Okay, so I try to take care of her. But yeah, just do the work on yourself. It's a lot of it's work, but in order for you to be peaceful, you have to do the work on yourself. Best thing I could have done, best decision that I've made is to do the work on me. So you want to be blessed. I gotta go. I'm gonna go finish working out and eat me some breakfast or brunch. Um, but you all be blessed and thank you for listening in.